Okay, so we're under the kind of the midsection of the passenger side. As you see, it is crunchy. That's not good. There's not much left there. It's time to tackle some rust on this old Gen 1 Tacoma. Got a 98 Toyota Tacoma, 4-wheel drive, 3.4 liter 5-speed manual. Got the nice locking rear diffs and everything in back. But it's suffering, like many other Yotas its age, some rust issues on the frame. I got these bunch of these fancy pants sleeves to weld on. First we got to get rid of the rust that's on there. Weapon of choice today is going to be an air hammer. Got various attachments such as this needle scaler. Attaches right on there, vibrates the rust right off. This really digs in there and gets those big chunks out. So I'm going to go ahead, fire up the air compressor. Gonna try to make a little bit of progress today, and then I'll give you an update. Okay, so as I was digging under the truck yesterday and pounding around with the air hammer and digging stuff out, realized that some spots are better than others on the frame. Others are significantly worse. So this project just got a lot bigger. And I'm mostly prepared for it. So let's see what we got here. So the truck bed is coming off today. And canopy's coming off today. Let me show you what I did though. Did a little bit of air hammering, so the outside of the frame is pretty good. We got some soft spots, so that's not good. But I got a whole section right here. Got to cut this off, and then it'll weld right over. Soft right there. Very soft right there. Still pretty soft, but I got all the dirt and all the flake out. It was just absolutely caked. We still got some scale and stuff. We got to do the same thing over here. Fuel tank has to come out. Bed has to come off. Looking at this cross member, it's, I don't know. I found one on Summit Racing that I can order. Luckily it's a bolt on part, but when the bed comes off, I'm gonna power wash everything and see how much truck is left here and see what needs to be replaced and start ordering stuff. So for this bed to come off, we got 6 bolts. Got one on each side here. Got another one on each side there. Those will be the easy ones. That was once my truck. And then the last bolt is right there. That's probably going to be the most fun. Might go ahead and remove the bumper to make it easier to clear this. I'm not sure. Then these lights got to come out. 4 screws. There's one little wiring harness, and that'll disconnect, and then we can shove the wiring harness down in there. I believe the last thing we got to do is we got 4 Phillips head screws here. Got to remove that. That'll free up the fill hose. I'm gonna go ahead, start loosening up all those bolts and check in with you periodically. I'll probably phone a friend to help me lift that thing off, or we'll just use my cherry picker. Haven't decided. But next time I see you, we will have made some progress. Well, phoned a friend. We got this freaking bed pulled off. There's a little more frame than I thought in places and a little less than others. See, it's pretty crusty, but there's still a bit of steel in there that'll have to beef up. That cross member is a big maybe. We'll see after I chip it. We had to cut one bolt out so that we can get to this one. This one was super rusted in there, and got that out with an extractor. This side came out pretty easy.
You still can claw it out.
This cross member is mostly gone. I don't know, partway gone. Should probably go ahead and order up the new one since it holds up my fuel tank.
Oh, that's just a mount for your fuel. There's nothing left there, dude.
The inside is pretty gross.
You're gonna have to be careful there that you don't rattle your fuel system off.
That right there.
Yeah, there's nothing holding this on but scale.
Oh, good.
Just one more thing, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Just be careful.
Might. Well, I'll blast it and clean it up and see if there's something I can do about that.
If anything, you could put a through plate and some through bolts through it, and it'll be fine.
There we go. Well, next step is to power wash, see what we got left, and then I'll needle scale a bit, drop that fuel tank, maybe put the truck in the garage first, then drop the fuel tank and do all the welding. Probably order up this cross member and some new bed bolts.
I didn't know that a cherry bomb.
Yeah, that's about a year old now. Dan welded that on there.
Okay. Okay.
That's why it sounds so cool. E6 power.
Are you pissing a leaf spring? No.
It's just really small leaf springs. I got a new pack. Next time you see this, it'll be a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna get to it. Got her in the garage now, and I'm gonna start some disassembly. Already took the tire out, and next I'll move to the shocks, which are toast. Get those out of the way, and then fire up the compressor and start needle scaling. All right, made a little bit of progress there. See all the rust. Still got some more chipping to do, but it's coming out. I think I'm gonna have to remove this whole thing here. Just weld in some bar or something. Let's see what I did the other day. Cleaned out mostly. Get my needle scaler in there from the top. I can chip that bottom layer away. So I think this is what I'm gonna be doing the rest of the day, chipping away, coming up with a game plan, getting the materials list together, and going to town. Made some progress yesterday. Got it all chipped, grinded down. Got a rust converter on there. This is It's looking pretty good. Gooder. Work on the passenger side first. And I'm just getting prepped here on this side. Doing something that's kind of questionable, of course. I got my fluid film layered on there and on the inside. And I tried to go below the level of where the welds are going to be. Did the same thing here. Might catch everything on fire. I don't know. We'll find out. Not advisable, but if it works, that would be fantastic. So what I'm going to do here is get this slid in place. Gonna wipe it down best I can, and then start welding on it. Let me show you the. I got that fluid film all up in there. Hoping that does the trick. Got it on the bottom rail here. Alright, that's what it looks like when it's fitted on. It's a very tight fit. That I didn't align that perfect because there's a little bit of a gap on the other side here. Right there, and I tried to cover that up the best that I could. If you can see that. Got nice little holes down here to weld to. A little bit of a gap here. I'll see if I can crush that in a little bit. Got the one piece welded on. Today's project is lift the truck up, pull the leaf spring off. I got a piece that fits over this and over this, and then a new shock mount or a new spring mount to weld onto. So the frame almost looks strong enough until you look on the inside. And I got her all cut open there because it was rusting out. So that's what is going to be covered with this new piece. And I'll show you that when it's all in. Got that piece welded on there, cut it where I said I was going to cut it so I can fit around the spring mount there. And that's what the other side looks like. All the way down. Super difficult to weld the further you get under the frame, as you can imagine. I got this little piece here. I may cut this, pound it in, and weld it just to block that hole that's down in there. That's where all the dirt's gonna get in. This is the next piece we're gonna be welding on. I just notched it here. So you have to notch it for that top part of the bump stop right there. It measures about 4.5 inches. Go ahead and cut that. It's already notched for the hardware for your cross support and your shock mount. And this is going to take care of this soft spot. And my soft spot's down there. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the surface. Get this prepped up. Get it fitted. And start welding it on. We're making some progress. Look at this. So I got this piece all welded on all the way around. Fit nicely. Welded on pretty straightforward. Just have to make that one little cut right there. And it's good to go. Got my 2.5 inch lift new skyjacker on. Got the new shackle on. And it does make the truck on this side sit a little bit higher than the other side. The other side looks like it has more springs on it even. Maybe someone who put a helper spring on there at some point, but they're just old and tired. And it does feel noticeably stiffer on this side than it does this side. And it even gave my front end an extra little inch lift. So I have one more bit of hardware to put on. And I got new U-bolts and all the hardware and everything in a 3-inch lift kit that I bought on Amazon, which is where I got the springs from, for like 80 bucks. Now I'm contemplating putting on this Rough Country 3-inch lift. It's got the 2-inch blocks in back and I don't know if that's quite a 3-inch space, it's like a 1-inch spacer, but either way, got the spacer for the front. And I was considering not doing the lift and just using the bolts, but now that I'm here, I think I'm going to do the lift. This is the Rough Country lift kit. So you want to put the small end forward, so it'll sit like this. You can see it's tapered. High end, low end. Low end goes to the front end of the truck. Probably should have showed it to you before I hit it with a coat of spray paint. But I got a piece of flat bar there, 2-inch. Wanted a 2.5, but all I could find was 2-inch in town. 2-inch wide, 1/8 thick. And then I got 3-inch wide, 3/16 thick. Use my plasma cutter to blast out some holes for the hardware. Went ahead and put the 2-inch block on. The U-bolts were a little long, so cut them short enough. And the block was really easy to put in there. All that goop is fluid film that I got in between to help keep it from rusting. It was really easy to install. I just used the block in the jack under the frame, lifted the whole thing up, and I was able to slip that 2-inch block right in. They say use like a series of jacks and things, take off your tire, support the axle, jack up the frame, lower the axle, then put in the block. But if you got a big enough block there and a jack, just lift the whole freaking thing up and you'll be able to clear that space. Looks pretty good. Definitely gave it some more lift up front as well. But of course, when we put the bed and the canopy on, it's gonna absorb some of that. But I do have a helper spring to put on there that should give like another 500 pounds or 1,000, maybe it's 500 pounds per side. I can't remember. Maybe it's 250 pounds per side and 500 pounds total. Either way, that should help keep that lift up a little bit. So then I'm loaded down with the gear and got everything in there and I'm out trailing around, that I don't lose too much height. I can still keep all my clearance. But the passenger side is now done. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the truck out all the way, sweep up all of the crap under there, get a relatively clean working space, at least not like full of rust and weld powder and shit. Sweep that out, and then I'm going to pull the truck closer over to this side so that I have more clearance on that side to start working. And then I'll drop that fuel tank, start removing lines and stuff off of the frame, and then I'll clean up that frame where the fuel tank is, and then we'll start welding on that as well and start making our way back. So that's the update for today. I'm gonna wash up, go get some food. Got the truck pulled out, see it in the daylight. If you can tell, but passenger side's a bit higher now with the new suspension and the lift. Looking pretty good. Fuel tank should be pretty easy. We got one bolt there. And then I believe, yep, these 3 right there. Got, 1 connection here, 3 fuel lines. That looks pretty rusty, but it's been soaking for over a week now in penetrating oil, so hopefully that does something for me. A few more things gotta detach here. So there's going to be a little clip. Where'd it go? There it is. This right here attaches there. Got another 12mm attached to this strap. And then we got some wiring that just kind of clips on. Some wiring that just kind of clips on right here. Looks like it's just kind of flopping around, so I'm going to go ahead and ease it on down. Get it out of the way. And show you what's left of the frame, I guess. She crunchy. See all of that right where the fuel tank was. Lots of crap in there. It's pretty crunchy all the way through. So I gotta definitely weld on a new section there. Get all this crap out. There's so much in there. Oh, fun. Okay, gotta remove all of these lines. Get all that out of the way. Do that all the way up to the front. And then start removing all of this rust. So I completely cut off the emergency brake because that line was in the way. Emergency brake, as far as I know, hasn't worked for 10 plus years. Figured if I want it again, I could get all the bracketry back up, but it's screwed into right here, which means I'll have to drill out the new, drill that out and tap it and do that in several different spots, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm saving this truck from the dump, so what the hell. I got one more piece welded on, so that's good to go. Super pain in the ass in the side because of all the lines and wires and shit in the way. Gotta be creative in getting the crap out of the way. So now I'm gonna work on this piece here. Got it cut out, and I actually have a plan. So cut that to size. I'll probably shave this down right here. That'll cover up those rust holes. Wish I would have thought about that over there, but maybe I'll still figure something out. Since I do have the other piece, I'm sure I can do something there. But anyways, the goal today is to get this piece welded on, get the suspension swapped out, and maybe get that fuel tank rehung. And I did go ahead and order up a fuel pump. Picked out a piece of gnarly goo. Some sludge buildup. I don't know if I still have it around here. If I stepped on it and tracked it in. But it was some gnarly goo that was in the fuel tank. I removed this fuel pump and broke like 3 of these little bolts here. So might be all right. Got to figure that out though. And I got a new fuel pump on order. Should be here tomorrow. Figured while everything's apart, and this thing, that fuel pump has been through some rough times. Also, I got the new fuel cap. Broke the old one on when I was removing the bed, but also I noticed when I tested, I tried blowing air through there, this fuel cap was clogged. So good thing I tested that. Good thing that broke, I guess. So I never would have tested it. So right now the challenge is getting that bolt out right here. It does not want to move. So I got tension release there. I'm going to try to release the tension here. I'm going to take this bolt off. That one does move. I'm going to pound it out. I have a new shackle, so not worried about getting the bottom shackle out. And hopefully that will relieve the tension on that front bolt as much as possible so that I can back it out. It does want to move, but it's like it's welded to the bushing in there and the rubber bends with it and doesn't want to quite break loose. This side was a little worse. I had to cut this off and then I was able to pound that out. This side I had to cut the bolt. Looks like I still got a little bit more to cut, but at least this is free. Looks like I broke the helper spring while I was at it. And that's pretty rusted on. Okay. So I smoked the 40. I got me a Lincoln. A couple days ago, the Forney fired her up, and the feeder was just going wild, just shooting out wire. The lights were blinking, the fan was sputtering, and she was done. It was a faithful unit for maybe 5 years or so. Worked out pretty good. Got the Lincoln 140. This one's does flux core and MIG. It's wired, or it's plumbed in for gas, and it is a much more stout and hardy unit than the 40, and it welds pretty freaking awesome. So where are we at? I just installed the suspension. This one on super easy and smooth. If you're having difficulty bending the springs into place, just give it more lift. Get yourself a big old block and a good jack and just lift that sucker up, and you'll have to do minimal effort to get it all in line. Picked up new bolts. Got a new bolt there. Got a bunch of new hardware here for the rear end to get the bumper and the hitch back on. I welded in this side, and oh my god, where the fuel tank is, it was just nasty. This was falling apart on me. It was still pretty stout, but it needed some reinforcement. It's ugly, guys, but it's solid. It is just boogered to all hell. I got a piece of 1/4 inch flat iron in here. I got some angle iron right here, 2 inch, another piece of flat iron on the back. And as you see, that side was just pretty rotted, so it's on there now. Cut this side off, moved it out and up so it was nice and flush. That side welded on pretty good. I know I'm not the best welder. I'm a mechanic with welders. I'm the most dangerous kind, super reckless, but I'm getting better, and that new welder is just a lot smoother. So do a little course correction. I wish I could turn the heat up, but I blow my circuit every time, so work with what I got. And maybe I'll slow down on the beads and try to tighten it up a bit, but that came together well. Here I kind of beat it up, cut it up, welded it. I put a piece of flat iron on the inside there to box that rotted part in, and so that should be good. In the process of doing all that, the rust finally broke on this. I think this is my rear locking diff unit, so I gotta hit this with an air hammer, try to take off the old the old rusty shit here if I can. And I think I'm going to take some angle iron on the inside, weld and drill it, and then bolt it in place. Set this back up again. But today's project, I get this next piece laid in there. As you see, it's got a new mount for the fuel tank, so I got to cut this old one off. And it should slide right into place. And I'll get that welded in. Made some progress. Got this rear piece on. It's pretty easy. All you really got to do is cut out a section for that bump stop, which I need to order new ones because my other one's rotted off. Clean that up a little bit. I know it's ugly, but it's just supposed to be a dust guard really to seal the little gap that was right here under it, but whatever. This was the worst part of the frame and it's looking a lot better now. I don't think I'm going to make that look any prettier. I gotta get this done. Today the focus is going to be on this rear side. Gonna get my 3-inch, 1/4-inch flat bar, go from back here all the way up, my 2-inch bar here to here. I did get my 3-inch bar welded, and then I welded the 2-inch bar on top of it right here. My electrodes on my plasma cutter went out and I don't have any more handy at the moment, so I just went ahead and drilled it out. Looks cleaner. For this, I ended up not making brackets. Sorry, I ended up not making brackets. I just welded the existing bracket on there because that was pretty solid. Now that ain't going nowhere. And just kind of patch this in here. Cut a little triangle bit, welded that in. So I think I'm done welding now. So next, I'm going to go ahead and paint the frame here. Paint all that new metal. Let it cure. And get ready to throw down that fluid film. And then get the fuel tank remounted. As you see, it is crunchy. That's not good. Got her all painted up. Ready to throw a little bit of that oil right here where the fuel tank's gonna go. And then I'll reattach the fuel tank, change the fuel pump, get it started back up, and see how that goes. And then I'll just start reattaching everything, put the shocks on, put the overload springs on, and then got this kit here, rust-proofing spray gun, fluid film that hooks right up to my air compressor, and comes with various attachments and everything so I can get inside the holes. So you see the paint turned out really nice. And that'll hopefully protect this frame for a long time. So the exposed parts of the frame that'll get hit with like water and shit, that'll have to be redone pretty much every year or so, depending on how much I drive it and what I drive it through. But at least all my hard work will not be for nothing. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. It's all put back together now. Got the new strainer on there, new hardware, new hose, ready to connect it back up, toss it in, seal it up, and put it back on the truck. Fuel tank is in, truck runs, new pump works great. Today is all about buttoning the truck back up. Clean this up a bit, get it bolted on, clean the bumper up, bolt it on, Probably make a exhaust hanger out of this, weld that on, and spray it down with oil, that fluid film, and then ready to put the bed back on. One thing I noticed, I tried putting on the shocks and like everything's maxed out right here, but because of the way that this top mount is mounted, it's got like an extra inch or more than this other side, and it completely maxed out the little rough country shocks. So I'm hoping, you know, adding the bed, the canopy, the bumper, the tow hitch, it's going to weigh it down enough, because you can see, I mean, it doesn't take too much. Let's use my hand here. Too much to make it flex. I'm hoping that gives me the travel that I need, because I got about 5.5 inches of lift altogether right now, or at least that's what the kit is, and those are up to 5.5 inches, or it's up to a 5.5 inch lift. So we'll see how it sits, and I may try to find a nice set of Bilsteins, because rough country is okay, especially if your shocks are shot, but Bilsteins are always so much nicer. Maybe I'll try to find like a 6 or 7 or 8 inch lift version of it, kind of depending. I'll measure it out and see how much see where it's at. But here we go. I'm gonna start working on this. Let's do a little demonstration of the fluid film setup here. I just pumped up my air compressor and just shut it off so I can do a little demonstration. You want good ventilation, you can do this outside, wear a respirator of some sort, fill up your tank. It's a pretty simple lock system, and then just let it fly. Pretty much it. It lays it on nice and thick. You can of course control the air pressure and everything. It might be coming on a little hot, but I think it looks pretty nice. Has good even spread, and that's all in oil, so it'll solidify. Well, it'll kind of won't really solidify, but it will firm up a little bit. Way better than in the spray can, I'll tell you that. It's a lot thicker, a lot better spread, and I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead, keep on doing this, and we are pretty much ready for the bed. I gotta customize a couple of bolts for the rear end, so I don't have where to go. These go in the rear end. These are shot, can't find them in town, so I did find the right size bolt, and I'm just gonna make this little piece here, just like a little stopper, and just weld it together, call it good. And then I'll be ready for the bed. So go ahead and spray this down. So I made one up and put it on the bed before I realized I was looking at this. Those can probably just be punched out. They absolutely can. And then I just welded in the new bolt. So show you what we got. So made that with some scrap. Also welded in. Yep, there it goes. Just fill out. That's what they look like. Tons of weld. I don't want that stuff breaking. It's ugly, but it's gonna work. Strong enough. So I'm gonna phone a friend and see if and get this bed put on. Frame's holding up nice. New shocks are on. Wheels are holding. Got the front spacer installed. Just waiting for the new upper control arms to arrive so that the ball joints aren't all bunged up. Looks a little better on this side than it does the driver's side. The driver's side does snag right there. This knuckle will get tangled in the springs. So the new A-arm should take care of that. Got new struts on the canopy. And since this shell doesn't fit perfect on the bed, I went ahead and threw some sealant in there. So now it locks up nice. Already took it out truck camping. It was pretty comfortable. I mean, I got some tweaks I got to do, but it was definitely pretty comfortable. All in all, pretty fun build and a good way to spend part of my summer. I'm already getting offers on it, so we'll see. I still wanted to tweak it and keep building it out, but if somebody offers me a pretty penny, then I should probably take it. But I'll put a link in the description for everything you see there. Fog lights, bumper or bull bar, link for the headlights that are really nice, link for the lift kit, and the leaf springs, links to all the weldable sleeves. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. Comment down below and let me know what I should do next. Let me know what you guys are doing on your Tacoma. What similar modifications have you done, and how's that going for you? I'd love to know. Because, these are pretty fun trucks to work on for the most part, and I'm going to have a lot of fun taking it off-roading. Whole idea is to take this thing out overlanding when it's done, take it to Prince Wales next summer, go bomb around in the mountains for a couple months, and because that's what I love to do. Be still working on Pig in the meantime, even though she's pretty ship-shape, but there's always tweaking we can do to these trucks. Always tweaking we can do. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see more Yoda videos, and I'll see you in the next one.